Welcome back to another episode of Aviation Champions. I'm your host, Miranda Gahn, co-founder and partner of Lexero Aviation Law Firm. This morning, I have the pleasure to introduce to you Kelly Carrillo. She's a corporate flight attendant and now president-elect of the Northern California Business Aviation Association. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Miranda.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your background. It sounds like you've been in the aviation industry for quite some time.
Yeah, I've been about 10 years now this August. I actually started as a student pilot taking flying lessons, and I caught the flying bug and I did my solo flight in March of 2017. And from there, I decided I wanted to do a career pivot from sales, and I went directly into aviation. At the time, I couldn't afford to continue doing the flying lessons on my own, but I wanted to get into the industry right away. So I kind of did a turn and I went the corporate flight attendant route. So I put myself through training, and then I kind of got started right away with a trial by fire, working as a corporate flight attendant, contracting at the beginning. And then I started working with some clients that I learned a lot from right off the bat, and they were pretty difficult, but I learned a lot from them, and I got to fly in a lot of different aircrafts as a contractor, and I met a lot of amazing people in the industry. And then from then, I kind of started working into the local and regional groups, and then I started volunteering for Northern California Business Aviation Association. So I got involved with them, and I made a lot of connections, and then that's kind of how I grew my network in the corporate aviation industry.
Wow, that's really impressive. So started out flying and then realized you enjoyed it a lot and then decided to pursue a career in being a flight attendant, a corporate flight attendant, and now president-elect, which is really impressive. So I have so many questions for you. I mean, and I would say truly, and maybe you would agree, those most difficult experiences are the ones you learn the most from. And it sounds like you had a lot of great learning opportunities along the way. Um,
Definitely.
what would you say for the audience who's maybe not familiar with a corporate flight attendant? Tell us a little bit more about what that means and what that entails.
Yeah, well, corporate flying is different from commercial because we commercial is like the airlines, and then corporate is flying on private jets, and there's different categories of that depending on like what type of owner it is. There's like Part 91, which is like private owner principals. There's also 135, which is kind of like charter operations. There's fractional, which is where some different owners they like share the aircraft, and then there's also hybrid. So it's like 91 and Part 135, which is a little bit of both of those two, and then but there's a lot of different variations of it. So I primarily work with Part 91 principals and their families doing international travel. So that's kind of what I specialize in. And I'm known for my culinary skills. But
Wow.
on board, I mean, corporate flight attendants wear a lot of hats. So we're also, one of the most important parts of our job is safety. So making sure all of our passengers and
Right.
crew are safe on board. And we go through, very strict training every year to make sure recurrent training, they call it, so that we're fresh every year and ready to go with that muscle memory if in the case that there ever is an
Right.
emergency on board.
Wow. I mean, very impressive. And I imagine at times high stress. I mean, you think about the world of hospitality and how important that is when you're dealing with high net worth individuals, coupled with the fact that you have to have the technical expertise with regards to aviation and then a focus on safety. And then, of course, soft skills and culinary skills to make the experience great. So I would say, Kelly, I imagine you're very talented in all of those.
Thank
Um,
you.
well, I'm dying to know. Tell us about how it is you became the president-elect of the Northern California Business Aviation Association. And that is a mouthful.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm very honored to be elected this year by my peers in the industry, and I started by volunteering with the organization during COVID, and I took a look at their website and I said, "Hey, do you need help with this?" Because I there was hardly any content on there, and I have experience building websites and a lot of tech things. I have my own aviation media company too, so I'm really involved in like technology and I love equipment. So I stepped in and they said, yes, please help us. And that's kind of how I got involved with them originally. Then I started working on their social media. And then they asked me to join the board of directors a year later. And I've been on the board of directors for nearly 6 years now. And just this year, I was voted in as the president elect. So 2027, I will be the first corporate or the first flight attendant to ever hold that position in a regional group. So I'm very honored and I take it very seriously because I want to showcase how, corporate flight attendants can step into leadership roles.
Of course.
And it's really important for me and my community to show that because I think a lot of people, they just look at us and they think, oh, you're a server in the sky. But we really do have so many different jobs that we
Yeah.
make look easy. So
Yes.
it's a lot.
Wow, very impressive, Kelly. I'm excited to see how things go for you. So, as president-elect, what are your big plans for the organization? Do you have anything in mind? Any goals for 2027?
Yes, well, we have a lot of initiatives that we're currently already working on, including Aviation Career Discovery Day, which is a very exciting
Oh, I like that.
initiative that we're doing for the student population and trying to get them, supported and scholarship money flowing in. And we have a huge event that we've been doing about every 3 years now in San Jose State University. We partner with them and the students get involved and we have speakers and that's one of our biggest things. Also, every year we do a golf tournament to raise money. But
Okay.
also, the other thing that I'm most excited about now is in December, I actually founded a new flight attendant um, community group called FA Club for stands for Flight Attendant Club, but it's pretty much open to everyone that's in the flight attendant flight tech realm in business
Okay.
aviation. And it's a group that I created to create opportunities for sharing resources and mentorship. And, we do quarterly events. So I host in-person meetings and also virtual calls, which I'm actually hosting this week. Today, I have my
Wow.
in-person meeting in Oakland, and then I have my virtual call tomorrow, and we have a lot of people signed up already. But that has been the most exciting thing because the community is just growing so much, and it's people are signed up from all over the place, even outside of the United States. So it's
Wow.
exciting to see people coming together for that, and I'm just very excited about where that's going.
Well, that's impressive. When do you have time to sleep? I think I finally met somebody who's busier than I am. I'm impressed at your hustle.
Funny you should ask. Yeah, not a lot of sleep.
I was going to say, and I think, you said a couple of things that I think I'd like to highlight, which are valuable. And when you're growing your career, I think if you don't have a strong mentor or you're not thinking about it, growing your network is so important. And volunteering in an opportunity where you have, vast opportunity for networking. So the fact that you've mentioned that, I don't know, I just feel like it should be worth highlighting. And of course, your hustle, so impressive. And it sounds like you have some really amazing plans for the business association. They sound like they're lucky to have you, and you've made it a better organization by being there and volunteering your time.
Well, we have a wonderful group of people on the board, so I won't take all the credit,
Of
but it's
course.
definitely been, something that we've grown over time. And we now have our 501(c), and we're just really moving. There's a lot of momentum with all the initiatives that we're doing and some really exciting events for our communities. And we're starting to kind of cross collaborate with other regions too. Like we actually have an event coming up in September called the NorCal SoCal Corral, where we do a big, huge kickball event in San Luis
Okay.
Obispo, and it's like a beach party. It's a lot of fun, and we drew a lot of people last year, and it was one of the best events we've had in the last 5 years. So,
Wow. Well, it makes me excited about it. Now I want to get involved. Well, let me end it with this, Kelly. I like to ask a lot of my guests, what career advice would you give someone who's interested in pursuing a career much like yours as a corporate flight attendant?
Of course, yeah, it's a great question, Miranda. I feel like, in this industry, there isn't a clear path to success or universal training standards. So, first thing I would do is go and look up the training programs like air care fax training is one of the best, highest recognized ones. Also, Flight Safety International, those are like the top two. So that's kind of where you want to start in this industry if you're interested in becoming a corporate flight attendant. But also, it's kind of like running a business. So you have to market yourself and you have to get networking. That's the best thing that I could recommend is networking and building your community, because that's what's really helped me get so many referrals. I'm a full-time contractor and I
Okay.
work in one of the highest paying areas in the United States, the Northern California area. The other
Yeah.
one is New York. But it's all about your network and creating those opportunities to meet someone in person, and that's where a lot of those opportunities end
Yes.
up coming from.
Great advice. I wholeheartedly agree. So if you can make it happen and you can fit it into your schedule, it's definitely worth the time and investment. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being on our show. Tell our audience where they can find you if they want to work with you and or be a part of the great work you're doing with your association.
Thank you. I can be found on LinkedIn, so you can just look up Kelly Carrillo. We post a lot of events and news and updates on there, so about everything that I'm working on, and also have my own website if you want to fly with me, yourgotofa.com.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us.
My
Best
pleasure.
of
Thank you,
luck.
Miranda.
You bet.